Naim, British manufacturer of premium audio components. Its catalogue includes amplifiers, digital players, compact music systems with built-in speakers and other devices with a variety of advanced features. The company was founded in 1973 by Julian Verica, an engineer, car racer, and entrepreneur who loved music. Verica was always dissatisfied with the sound quality of home audio systems of the time. After listening to concert recordings and his own recordings of various performances, the music lover decided to design his own amplifiers and acoustics. Verica's first invention was a light music system, a massive unit synchronized with music and equipped with lamps with a total output of 30 kilowatts. This device he rented out to film studios. Verica's first amplifier, a Naim 160, which delivered 60 watts to each of the two channels, became popular with his friends. This inspired Verica to continue his development. In 1972, he won a tender to supply equipment for Capital Radio, a radio station that was just starting up. Among the devices for Capital Radio was the NAM 502, which combined a previously developed power amplifier and loudspeaker system. The device was a success, and the popularity of the radio station further enhanced the reputation of the design. Energized and believing in the success of the venture, Verica decided to set up his own business. His friend Shirley Clark supported the project financially. Naim chose a workshop in the center of Salisbury, the town where Verica and Clark lived. This space housed both production and listening rooms. In '73, Naim launched its first commercial product, the NAP 200 power amplifier. A year later it was joined by the NAC 12 preamplifier. These units quickly became popular and began to be distributed throughout the country. In those years, many manufacturers were of the opinion that the sound character of an audio system was determined solely by the speakers, and that the amplifier should be just a conductor with a signal amplification function. Verica strongly disagreed with this approach. His understanding was that the signal source was the foundation of any audio system, it was the source that affected the sound quality. Verica considered the preamplifier and amplifier to be the next most important elements, followed by the loudspeaker. He argued that a good amplifier with bad acoustics will play better than a bad amplifier with good acoustics, because the acoustics are always dependent on the amplifier. The assertion is controversial, but not unfounded. In '75, Naim introduced the NAP 250 amplifier, based on the NAP 200. Its circuitry became the benchmark for all future Naim amplifiers. The NAP 250 itself remained virtually unchanged for 25 years, being available in a variety of different styles, and was only redesigned in 2002. In creating this unit, Verica believed that the ideal amplifier should work with acoustics with varying impedance without loss of quality, have low harmonic distortion and noise, have a wide bandwidth, and avoid the use of tonal compensation, which Naim saw as an attempt to hide circuitry deficiencies. Naim amplifiers of those years operated in Class B and utilized powerful TO3 transistors designed to the company's special specifications. These transistors were characterized by high speed and power, and were an important part of the unique Naim sound. As mentioned earlier, Julian Verica emphasized that loudspeaker impedance varies with frequency rather than remaining constant. Whereas most manufacturers used output filters to solve this problem, Naim offered a more elegant solution, the use of its proprietary NAC A4 and NAC A5 cables. These relatively inexpensive cables, ranging from 3.5 to 5 meters in length, provided optimum capacitance by compensating for variations in loudspeaker impedance. Almost from the beginning, Vervent introduced the concept of external power supply to the preamplifiers. This power came either from the power amplifier or from a special unit in a separate enclosure. This approach avoided the magnetic fields of transformers and AC circuits affecting sensitive preamplifier components. In order to minimize interference, Naim manufactured preamplifiers and power amplifiers as separate units. As early as 1975, the first external power supply, the Naim NAPS, was introduced, specifically designed for preamplifiers. Naim amplifiers were modular in design, allowing them to be adapted to suit different applications. The following modules were available: S. Low-level MC phono stage. N. The high-level MC phono stage. K. Modules for Lin Karma and Troika type cartridges. V. Modules with adjustable high-level line input. In addition, preamplifiers were equipped with inputs for tape recorders, FM tuners, and auxiliary. Particular attention was always paid to connectors. BNC and DIN connectors were favored as they provided earthing and minimized noise. RCA connectors were hardly ever used as they did not conform to Naim standards. An interesting feature of Naim equipment was the slightly wobbly connectors. This was not a design flaw but a deliberate decision. This decoupling of the connectors from the cabinet reduces the amount of interference to the electronics, which ultimately improves sound quality. Until the release of the NAP 500 in 2000, Naim's amplifier circuitry remained virtually unchanged from that of the legendary NAP 250 in '75. All subsequent models were based on its architecture, with only minor improvements. In 1980, Naim left its workshop in Salisbury city centre and moved to a larger building on the outskirts of the city and remained there permanently. During this period, Naim launched a series of original advertising campaigns that played on the brand name's consonants with the word Naim. Funny slogans became the company's trademark. Julian Vervent himself appeared in one such advert, introducing the NAIT, his first integrated amplifier in honor of the company's 10th anniversary. This amplifier was released with a focus on sound and listener experience rather than technical performance. The company was so keen on this approach that it didn't disclose the model's power output, believing that a properly designed power supply is more important than any numbers. However, user experiments showed that the NAIT delivered about 15 watts into 8 ohms. The model was produced until 1988, when it was replaced by a second version with slightly higher power but similar circuitry. In 1984, the company released the first mono amplifier NAP 135, based on the NAP 250. The 135 was produced until 2002, with a case upgrade in '89. In the same 1984, the high-cap preamplifier power supply was launched, which is still offered under this name. And in the same year, the manufacturer launched its first FM tuner, the NAT-01, which was also produced unchanged until the early 21st century. In 1985, Naim won the award for Export Achievement, an important milestone in the brand's recognition in the international market. For a long time, Naim avoided CD players, considering compact discs an inferior medium to vinyl. However, in 1991, almost a decade after the format's introduction, the company did introduce its first CD player, the CDS. The CDS was a dual-module player with the disc tray opening upwards, offset to the right-hand edge of the unit and a remote control. Unlike other manufacturers' dual chassis players, where the enclosures were separated into a transport and digital converter, Naim had one of the enclosures dedicated to the power supply. The company's engineers felt that to achieve high sound quality, the player's converter should be as close to the reading mechanism as possible, and the power supply should be physically removed from sensitive electronics to avoid its influence on the signal. Naim used a clamp made from a rare earth magnet to clamp the CD. This design was both lightweight so as not to add unnecessary weight and strong enough to hold the disc in place and minimize vibration and interference. A year after the release of the CDS, the company introduced an updated version of the player and then released an expanded line of devices called the CDI. In 1993, Julian Verica founded his own label, Naim Records. The main aim was to create music recordings with the highest possible sound quality to meet the high demands of audiophiles, especially those who appreciate analog sound. The first release was the album Electric Glide by Gary Boyle. Owning their own label turned out to be a good idea, and the business is still going strong today. In the late 90s, Naim worked hard to update its circuitry, leading to the introduction of the new Reference 5 series, introduced in 2000. The series featured minimalist black enclosures and new technologies, including Semilab output transistors modified specifically for Naim. These transistors could handle high current and low voltage simultaneously. In 2000, sadly, Julian Verica died at the age of 54 from health problems. The management of the company was taken over by Paul Stevenson, who had previously held an important position in the company. Under Paul's leadership, Naim continued to develop, restyling all of its products in 2002 and finally switching to black enclosures. In 2005, Naim introduced the NV, an all-in-one multifunctional device that combined several important functions into a single enclosure. An AV receiver with 5-channel Class D amplification. A player that supported DVD video, DVD audio, and CD. A processor based on a Cirrus Logic chip that supported different formats, including Dolby Digital, DTS, Dolby Pro Logic 2, and DTS Neo 6. The NV was a significant step for the company towards multifunctional and digital devices, offering high-quality audio and video in a single device. In 2009, the firm introduced one of the premier devices in its catalog, the Naim Uniti player. The model was an important step in the evolution of multifunctional devices. This audio player and 50-watt amplifier combined several functions, offering high-quality sound and a variety of sources. The Uniti was equipped with CD tray, Wi-Fi, and Ethernet. The model had 2 optical inputs, 2 coaxial inputs, USB, and 1 3.5mm input. As a bonus, the engineers provided a module with FM and DAB tuner. It was a favorite with users because of its versatility and ability to integrate with a variety of components. It was the first of its kind in the Naim range to be integrated into a digital environment and had very high sound quality. UnitiCute was a more compact and affordable version of Uniti, launched in 2010. It retained much of the functionality of the previous model, but with a few changes such as no disk drive and reduced switching capabilities. But the price was almost halved. In the same year, the company received another national award for business excellence. Among other things, Naim was praised for creating audio systems for Bentley cars. For this project, Naim engineers used sophisticated DSP algorithms to harmonize the performance of speakers located in different parts of the car. In 2011, Naim merged with Focal to form a group called Focal and Naim, which continued to develop its products independently. The companies began exhibiting together at international trade shows. In 2014, France's Vervent Audio Group acquired the group, and in 2017 UK distributor of Focal speakers was integrated into Naim. Following the success of its first new network generation devices, the company continued to develop its catalog in this direction, creating a series of players with the ND index. Models in this series began production with an emphasis on high-quality streaming. If we talk about the most significant products of those years, it is worth mentioning the ND5 XS streamer, which supported audiophile quality at a relatively affordable price. We should also highlight the 2012 model NDS, a reference network player with support for various music services and the ability to play content in 24-bit and 192 kHz quality. In 2018, it was replaced by a more modern ND555. Among other things, in 2012 and 2013, the firm updated the Uniti model, releasing several different versions of this device and its modifications such as Super Uniti and Uniticute 2. In 2014, the manufacturer released the first Muso system, which became very popular. This device was characterized by the presence of built-in speakers. Muso could be used to play music in different formats. The main bet was made, of course, on network functions. A little later, the company added a compact, simplified version Muso QB to the catalog. It's worth noting that network players, streaming and digital formats have not displaced products designed for analog media from the company's range. For example, the Super NAIT 3 and NAIT XS3 amplifiers of the period featured inbuilt phono correctors and circuitry for the most natural live sound possible. The big lineup refresh happened in 2017. Naim had spent several years in development and over £4 million on modernization. The result was the release of 4 new units. Uniti Core, a server with a built-in CD ripper and hard drive. Uniti Atom, a network player with 40 watts per channel. Uniti Star, a more powerful version of the Uniti Atom with 70 watts per channel and a CD drive. And Uniti Nova was the most powerful player in the range with 80 watts per channel but no disk drive. Of course, the development of the company did not stop after 2017. The firm continues to operate and constantly update the catalog with interesting modern products. As of 2024, the brand continues to be part of the Vervent Audio Group along with Focal. From 2022, Naim is headed by Cedric Magnord. Vervent Audio Group invests the maximum amount of money in the company. Naim's current product range includes several lines. Second-generation Muso music player with speakers inside. Uniti amplifier streamers in various versions. Sources including network players, servers and CD players. Naim also has a separate range of preamplifiers, integrated amplifiers, phono stages, power supplies and power amplifiers, including a high-end models. Like, for example, a unique multi-module mono amplifier with a power output of up to 1,500 watts and costing around €180,000 on the European market. Of course, this is an exclusive. Naim is known for its high prices, but standard products for ordinary music lovers cost more or less adequately. For Muso of the second generation, for example, they ask about €1,000. The latest modification of the all-in-one Uniti Atom amplifier streamer can be bought for about €2,500. This is not very cheap, but such prices do not cause astonishment. Generally speaking, the modern catalog of the company is very interesting. The company offers many interesting solutions that keep pace with the times. A review of the Naim 2024 catalog would take a long time, so I think it would make sense to make a separate video on this subject. If you like the Naim story video and it gets a lot of likes, there will be a special video on the channel reviewing the entire Naim range. As for this video, it's now at an end. As always, I hope you enjoyed it. There are many more interesting videos to come. Be sure to subscribe. See you all soon.